I got a question here because it's about Hartley, this book. So we got to ask some question. Do you think you'll be homeschooling Hartley?
I've thought about that a lot. I was never someone who thought about homeschooling until I
Hmm.
saw really, just because I was like, I worked in schools I
Right.
worked in private schools. I worked in Catholic schools. I love the idea of a classroom. You think of, oh, they go into a classroom. It's so cute. They get to hang out. They do these little performances. That's very idealized oftentimes because I also worked in a private school in New York City that was really functioning like an indoctrination camp in many ways. So, take it for what it is. But watching what went on this past year and just all of these school closures, parents having to struggle. I mean, I know a lot of people who had to give up their jobs. Both parents were working. One had to give up a job because they couldn't even work from home and homeschool their child because the schools were shut down for so long. For what, really? Well, I can tell you because the teachers' unions and the CDC were dictating policy together. That's a political point. But regardless, watching all of that and watching what's going on right now, with the masking of these kids, I don't know if people have seen these videos, even of little kids, 2-year-olds on airplanes. It just feels very, very, very bad to me. In some cases, it looks like child abuse, to be perfectly honest, in my opinion. I just can't, I'm not into it. But it makes me rethink the whole school system. And I talk about this in the book too, about diversity of thought and wanting kids to really learn, how to think, not what to think, and think for themselves. That's vanishing from schools in many ways. In the same way that you can't ask questions in scientific communities anymore, you really can't question what's going down in schools. Parents are being told to sit down and shut up. You see what happened in your recent political race in Virginia. Parents spoke out. They said, I want to say in my kids' education, these are my children. I mean, anyone who has children or nieces or nephews or students, we love them with such fullness. I mean, I think of my baby, I'm like, there's nothing I wouldn't do for him. So, yeah, I am thinking about it. And we're thinking, we were looking at Nashville and Texas and Florida, and we are thinking about homeschooling as something. And, maybe homeschool groups, I still want him to have a lot of that social activity. I think it's so important for kids to be around other kids. And, I had many great experiences as a kid in school. So, and I know there are, many, many good teachers out there who are really frustrated in the system as well. So I definitely want to acknowledge that. But there's just too much going on that makes me uncomfortable and makes me feel like they're trying to take away parental rights in this equation. And there's nothing more important in a child's life than their parents and their family. There's nothing. I mean, teachers are an aid to that. Schools are an aid to that. But if you're trying to tell parents to sit down and shut up, I mean, that's just not a good system to be a part of. So we're thinking about it.